Hey guys, it's me again, and I am here with another movie review, this time for The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, it has only been 5 years since the last Spider-Man hit the theaters with Spider-Man 3, and only 10 years since the franchise originally began with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man in 2002. So the big question is this remake coming too soon, and is the remake worth it? Now, when I initially heard about the Amazing Spider-Man project, my first reaction was, it's way too soon. Spider-Man 3 was bad, but I didn't think that they really needed to jump the shark and start the whole franchise over. And I know that there was a lot of tension between the studio and Sam Raimi in what to do with Spider-Man 4, so I guess they decided, hey, screw it, we'll just start over. And so I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. And then the first teaser trailer came out, and if I'm remembering it correctly, it was the teaser trailer where Spider-Man was all first person, and he was jumping up on the rooftops. And I thought that looked terrible. It looked like a video game. And, yeah, I actually kind of scoffed and laughed out loud during that teaser trailer. And even when the big trailer came out, the theatrical trailer with actual scenes from the film, and they were talking about the untold story and its secret and all this other stuff, and I just thought it was silly. And, honestly, I really wasn't all that impressed with the early promotional material for The Amazing Spider-Man, and I thought it was going to be bad, actually. And I have to regretfully say that I kind of liked The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's a perfect movie, and I'm not saying that it's better or worse than the previous films. In fact, as much as I can, I'm going to try to avoid comparing The Amazing Spider-Man to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films in this review as much as possible. Now, I am considering doing an actual comparison video, so if you want to see a comparison video from me comparing my thoughts about The Amazing Spider-Man to the original Spider-Man movies, just leave me a comment down below and let me know. But for the purposes of this review, I want to try to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man without bringing up the other movies as much as possible. So we'll see how long I can go before I screw that up. Now, The Amazing Spider-Man is once again an origin story, but this time it's a little bit changed up. Andrew Garfield stars as Peter Parker, and, I thought that he did a pretty good job. I believe that he was a high schooler. He looked like a high schooler. He had this really kind of skinny kind of body type, and even though the actor I think is like 30 years old or something, I really bought him as a high schooler. He was sarcastic, he was funny, and then he also overreacted to things. I particularly remember this one scene between Uncle Ben and Aunt May and himself, and he completely overreacted, and I just remember those days, in high school where everything was just so, like, ooh, you hate everyone and you get so upset so easily, and I thought that he did that pretty well, so I totally bought that he was a high school student. I completely bought that, and he also did a really good job as Spider-Man. This Spider-Man was a lot more like acrobatic, sort of parkour-style movements, which did a really good job of differentiating this Spider-Man from the previous films, because he moved a lot differently. It was weird to think about that, because you're like, okay, he's still shooting webs and he's still crawling on walls, but it looked different. The choreography was different and the style was different. So I thought that was really cool. Emma Stone also co-stars as Gwen Stacy, which is a different girlfriend from in the Sam Raimi films. I'm not big on the comics. I don't know. All I know is what I know from the previous films and the cartoon show that ran, I think, in the 90s. So I thought that she did a good job as well, and the relationship between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker was very high school as well. I completely bought that they were a high school couple because they didn't know how to, like, talk to each other at first. And so they had this kind of awkward, like, flirty kind of chemistry going on at first, and it was believable. It was cute. It was funny. It didn't get too cheesy. So I thought that aspect of the film was really good. Now, getting into some of the more important details about the film, for instance, the Spider-Man suit, which I know has caused a lot of controversy among the Spider-Man fans. I thought the Spider-Man suit worked. It looked good. It looked different enough. However, I do have to say I probably prefer the suit from the original Spider-Man films, just because that looks classy and the new one looks gritty a little bit. So it was a very different looking suit, but I do have one question, and this is a minor spoiler. It's not a plot spoiler, but if I remember correctly, when Peter Parker was creating the Spider-Man suit, originally he was wearing a mask and sunglasses, and then he took those sunglasses and made those into the eyes. And I just have to say that, okay, for a superhero who does most of his stuff at night, I think that sunglasses as the eyes is just a little bit silly. So I call BS on that. I thought that that was stupid. But other than that, I thought the suit worked for this version of the film. You know, they were kind of going for a darker look. And, you know, I'm not so sure because a lot of people, I remember there was a featurette saying where the costume designer was saying that they were trying to make it look like a high school student could have put this suit together. I also call BS on that because I still don't buy it that he made it himself. Honestly, I think if a high schooler made a Spider-Man suit, it would look like some of the crap that you see at like Comic-Con, like the really bad ones. You know, so I'm not really buying the whole, oh yeah, we made it look like that because it makes it look like he built it when he was in high school. It's like, no, it looks like a costume designer made that, so I'm sorry. That's a fail, but I like the new look of the suit. The poster, on the poster, it looks amazing. Like, the poster for Amazing Spider-Man looks awesome. Even though, you know, I don't know if I want to pay $30 for a poster, but if I had that poster, I would hang it in my house. I mean, come on, look. I have the Last Airbender poster in my house. So, I would hang that poster in my house. Okay, so, moving on from the Spider-Man suit, and now I need to talk about the villain. Now, the villain, the lizard, Dr. whatever, I don't remember his name, Dr. Connors, there we go. Okay, I do remember. I felt like the villain was just like a hair away from nailing it. And I'm not talking about like the way that the lizard looked or anything like that, because he looked ridiculous and the CGI looked fake. But there was something there that reminded me actually of Spider-Man 2. Okay, this is going into sort of spoiler-ish area, not too much, but there was a connection between Peter Parker and Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Very brief, but they had this scene together where they really bonded. Okay, and now comes the Amazing Spider-Man, and Dr. Connors worked very closely with Peter Parker's father on this sort of experiment in trying to figure out human regeneration or something like that. And they had a few scenes where they should have bonded, but I didn't feel it. I never felt like there was any sort of real connection, and I felt like there should have been. You know, just because, like, I mean, there were a few scenes where they almost bonded and Peter Parker helped him, you know, with this lost math problem and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know, I didn't feel the bond, you know, because Peter Parker is obviously missing his father, and this man worked with his father for years, and I felt like there should have been something more. So I feel like they missed the mark on Dr. Connors for this film. Now, another thing that was interesting about The Amazing Spider-Man is actually the way that they lit it in regards to the story, because this Spider-Man has been labeled dark, it's been labeled gritty, and to an extent, it actually is both of those things. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say it was the Dark Knight of the Spider-Man franchise, because it wasn't that, you know, extreme, going from goofy like Batman and Robin to Dark Knight. It wasn't that extreme. However, they did do a lot of things with the lighting and the set design and the visual effects and things like that. They did give it a darker tone. It was definitely lit a lot darker. A lot of the scenes happened at night. There wasn't as much exposure on the Spider-Man suit and things like that. And that really did help kind of change the look of the film visually from the other films. And I actually really liked the fact that they were able to do that. So it was, in a way, a dark, gritty reboot, just not super dark and not super gritty. Another aspect of it that was a little bit darker is there was a lot more blood in the film. And, honestly, even though I keep mentioning the other Spider-Man movies as much as I'm trying to not do that, it was amazing how much of the film I was sitting there not thinking about the other ones. It was only after I left the theater that I immediately started, drawing comparisons. Overall, I think that The Amazing Spider-Man did a pretty good job of differentiating itself from the previous films in both style and look and things like that. So I'm going to give The Amazing Spider-Man an 8 out of 10. Now, if you guys have seen The Amazing Spider-Man, let me know what you guys thought of the film by leaving me a comment down below or a video response. And also, if you guys are interested in seeing me do like a full-on Amazing Spider-Man versus Spider-Man video, also let me know that in the comments down below, because it was really hard making this review without making extreme comparisons, but I did want to try and keep this as short as possible. I know that this is not a short review by any means, but if I was comparing the two, it would be in half an hour long, so I wanted to maybe do it into 2 separate videos. Also, before you guys go, I do have a review for Prometheus. For whatever reason, when I uploaded it, I don't think it's sent out to anybody, and the thumbnail didn't work. I don't know what happened. But I do have a review for Prometheus, and also I am moving YouTube channels. For those of you who don't know, my new YouTube channel is going to be Alexander Halstead. Right here is the link. Please go there and subscribe, because after The Dark Knight Rises, that's where all of my movie reviews are going. Also video logs and some short films, things like that, so you don't want to miss out. So please subscribe to that new channel, because after The Dark Knight Rises, I'm not posting anything here. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully I didn't forget anything in this review, and I will talk to you guys later.